What you about what you're about to hear is a black woman talking about her experience trying to leave Kiev or Kyiv, or she was trying to leave Ukraine during this invasion from Russia while they're being bombarded by bombs. And this is what she had to say of her personal experience.
The sirens started going off in Dnipro. So once the sirens started going off, I was aware of what was going on, and I could see like this situation is going to get worse and worse and worse. So I was tweeting every single step of what was happening, not even for other people, but mainly for my mom and my daughter and the people back home, so that if I was not able to get in touch with them, they would know I was last seen here. And I just started trying to make an effort and making an awareness so that people knew what was happening in Ukraine and the issues that we were facing trying to leave Ukraine. The Ukrainian military, they're the ones who are in control of who stands where, who goes where. There's nobody else who isn't a member of the military. It's only military and armed forces, and they are prioritizing Ukrainian people leaving Ukraine. Us students who've come from different countries to get an education for a better life for our families and friends, we're the least of their worries. So there was this man, he wasn't in any queue, he was just stood. When that was happening, this is all in hindsight, I didn't understand why he was doing that. So I took out my phone so I could film it. So I was thinking, if this man does anything to us, I want people to know that this is what happened. So they started circling our cars and hitting the car. I got out of the car to like tell the military, because I thought the military are there to assist the civilians. So I wasn't thinking of the military as like our enemies. I'm thinking, oh, the militaries are there to support civilians. So I said to him, can you see what this guy is doing? Like he's banging on the car. And he was like, oh, no, 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 no. Because a lot of them, they don't speak English in Ukraine. The main language in Ukraine is Russian or Ukrainian. So my husband, he speaks fluent Ukrainian. So I went back to the car, and then he moved out of the car. He moved out of the queue so that he could stand by the side so that we could get some assistance from the military. The man then comes to the car again, and then he's like, "You need to queue, queue, queue," and he was pointing onto the pedestrian queue. So if we were in the car queue for over 2 days, imagine how long the people who were standing in the pedestrian queue were standing there for. Once we got to the actual passport control, approaching where they check your passport and you proceed to the Romanian queue, if you looked on the other side, there was a fence. There was Ukrainian people who were just walking through. Yeah, we were told to queue. We had to queue. And there was not...
What she's saying is, excuse me, what she's saying is, once you get to the border to cross, you're in a queue. Like you're either in a car queue, you're in a car line, or you're in the walking line. But she said she was in the car queue for 2 days already. So she said she was trying to see, what was going on. And then she said on the other side of the fence, though, they was just letting the Caucasian Ukrainians go through, just letting them go through, just letting them go through. But like the Africans, the blacks, the Arabs, like they couldn't really go nowhere. They was being denied.
Not a single Ukrainian person in that queue. In the pedestrian queue, there was only people of color. There was Asians, Arab people, and black people. There were no...
So what she's saying is they were making people get out of the car queue and making them get into the pedestrian queue, which is all filled of people of color, Asians, blacks, Arabs. So it is the Caucasian against the darker race over there. And that's what it is.
Ukrainian people in that queue. So as I'm filming it, he comes around and then he starts to lunge with me. It was clearly evident like it was a racial attack, because why were we being told to leave the car queue when nobody else was told to leave the car queue? So then they offered to assist, but I think their hands were tied as to so much as to what they do. As a black woman, I was lunged at by one of the civilians. On our way to the border, a man held a gun up at me.
She keeps saying by a civilian instead of saying by a white man. You know, she know it was a racist thing because she was a black woman. But black people have been so, forgiving. So, trying to look at the purity of people's hearts. But how further do we get to look at the purity of people's hearts when there is no purity in their hearts? All they do is, to the Ukrainians are being worser and showing worse racism than the Americans do. At least Americans are cool with Arabs and Asians, but the Ukrainians are making the Arabs, Asians, and the Africans wait. Why? Why? It's the priority program that's seen all around the world. No matter what, no matter who it is, as long as you're Caucasian and it's somebody black, you have somebody's neck to stand on, and they feel like that's all right. Well, let's finish hearing what the sister's saying.
And told us that if we don't leave in 5 minutes, will shoot us. Other black women have reported being shoved, being pushed, women with children. So it's been awful. It's been horrific. I've been in Romania since Monday night, and I have to say to you, the Romanian people, they've been so good to us. They've been so kind to us. There's been a massive effort of volunteers from people.
And it's crazy how she is an African, and she's still calling herself back. These is one of the Africans that connects and resonates black skin with black skin, no matter where you are on the continent. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you are on the face of earth. If you're black, you're black. If you're African, you're African. And both of those are the same. And I love how she coincides both of them with no difference.
People in Romania seeing where they can assist. And I'm particularly concerned for Africans because we crossed over and we were met by a lot of Romanian people who were very kind to us, but it would have been nice to see some people who look like us. After what we've been through, we're very apprehensive right now, so it would be nice if other people are willing to go to Romania and Poland and Hungary and assist in the humanitarian effort. So what we need right now, I think, is support from the UN or people who have the powers to ensure the safety of those students. But I don't know if our community will be prioritized. So I just want to ensure that they're prioritized because there's people as young as 16 there. There's children there, basically. And their parents are worried sick about them.
Now, what you just heard was a first-hand story of a African female that was trying to leave Ukraine. But what happened was when she got to the border, she was in, they have two things. They have a car line and then they have a pedestrian line. And they call them keys, pedestrian key or car key or queue. Car queue or pedestrian queue. She was in the pedestrian queue for 2 days already trying to leave Ukraine. So she was saying that the Caucasian people of Ukraine started to tell them to get out of the car queue and to get in the pedestrian queue, which once you looked at the pedestrian queue, there were all people of shades of darker hue than Caucasians. The line consisted of non-Caucasian Ukrainians, Asians, Arabs, Africans. And all these people had to wait in line, be refused to get through, and on top of that, people pulling guns on her. If they pulled guns on her, then they pull guns on everybody. People's families are being torn apart because of this war. And on top of that, you cause more trauma and conflict upon a Ukrainian or people that came to your country because they feel It is where they can go to school at, get good education at, and then you treat them with the most adverse actions known to human. Make them stay somewhere to be killed. And that's one of the things that, needs to be put and shouted from the mountaintop all over a media, is that how no matter what, and just let me clarify this too, even though she was using the word African, they are Africans by nature, by their homeland, their motherland. Us, we are Africans in America. It's, even though we're Africans, like they would be African Ukrainians. You know what I mean? But it's a distinction that all of us need. And when I say all of us, I'm talking about black people. We need to all be on one accord and stop separating ourselves from each other. Stop separating the blacks of Africa from the blacks of America, from the blacks of Europe. Well, really, the blacks of America are the only blacks that's not considered Africans. And the African nation and population and people and constituents and citizens should recognize the black Americans as Africans. This is the time. Now you see that how you are being treated is because of the trajectory of slavery in America. And you should understand the plight now, and understand our trauma, and understand where we come from. That this is not something that we wanted. This is not something that we chose. This is not something we want to fulfill. We want to be free and have our identity of where we came from, just like everybody else. But this is the time that even the black Ukrainians, the African Ukrainians, y'all also need to see that this type of behavior that's being bombarded upon you guys is the same action, tension, and philosophy that's been put on the Africans in America for centuries. And I'm asking you to open your eyes to the plight of your brothers and sisters in America, to open your eyes and see that we have been going through the same thing that you are just now experiencing in life in 2022. It's a sad case of reality, but it is reality. It is something that we must change. Because if we look at ourselves as something different, we will never be together. You are experiencing these hostile tendencies from these Caucasian people because it is in their blood to be hostile. Just because of the fact that people of your color were slaves in America or slaves anywhere. That does not constitute the treatment that you should be receiving today. And you should understand that that treatment that you are receiving today is the treatment that was given, that comes from the treatment and the enslavement of your brothers and sisters in America. May Allah be pleased with everything. May Allah have mercy on the brothers and sisters trying to cross into Romania, Poland. May Allah give them safe passage. And may Allah open up their hearts and their minds and see that we have the same plight that they are just now experiencing. I call on all African Ukrainians to open up some type of communication and understanding of your brothers and sisters in America. Please, it is vital. It is something that we all need. Just like you are begging people to come to your aid, in the UN to come to your aid, we are asking the same thing. But we will not get this because we do not have nobody in connection with us. We have nobody to stand up with us or for us. Everything that we do, it's always getting shot down because we don't have a larger voice scale. And we need our brothers and sisters that's going through other things. And we need our brothers and sisters from everywhere else around the globe to open up the eyes of the plight for the black man and black woman in this world now. We were king and queens at once. We were pharaohs. We civilized the uncivilized. We were very heartfelt people. We were very generous. And now that you see the outcome of what our generosity has brought us back. Like I say, I pray for you brothers and sisters in Ukraine. I hope that you make it safe. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll have further updates. And we can start some type of communication and compromisation of how we look at each other different. Let's just get the ball bouncing of communicating across the water with each other. Y'all already know what it is. Hey, it's your boy Pharaoh the God. I got 5. Let's talk. And you already know it's always real talk. Holla at your boy, man. If you do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, man. And please, share this, man, and say a prayer for the African Ukrainians.